Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to, I don't know if this is going to be the last video, at least it's going to be one of the last. In the previous video, we basically finished our proof of concept. What we made is a very core basic principle of connecting a front end to a back end. We managed to authenticate, go to the select screen, pick a character, go to the battle screen, get presented with all their skills, with their cooldown and mana cost. And when clicking on a skill, it gets used on the enemy. We could see the health and mana, my mana and his health being deducted. And that is it. That is actually the connection, the socket connection between the backend, do turn, and then emitting into your sockets, and doing the same here, accepting these socket events and handling logic. Now, that was the point of this course. You learned validation. You learned making an online multiplayer game on your own server. We use NodeJS with Strapi and Docker, I'm sorry, and Postgres to create your backend server. Now, the point is that we want to deploy this on a remote server so we can actually play this online through the internet and play with our friends. Now, in this video, I'll show you how to do that DevOps part, and it should be easy because we're using Docker, and we had made a Docker Compose production, which basically specifies the structure of a production environment. Now we're going to have to edit certain things before actually trying to make it work, because for some reason this part, the database connection, when I tried to deploy this on production, it didn't exactly work, and I still haven't figured out why, but I do have code that did make it work, and I will share that piece of code with you so you can copy paste it, because I will be copy pasting it. The way this will work is, well, we don't need to do anything here anymore, though we're going to have to change some, let's see, the socket manager connection URL to our Digitalocean IP address. Let's stop this. What's going to be important is pushing all our changes into our repo, starting to rent a server. It's going to be free. I have a method that makes it free in DigitalOcean for 2 months. And we're going to pull that repo into our remote Ubuntu server. And we're going to try to run Docker in production. That has to, in theory, has to work. But there are some very minor things that we're going to have to change. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that. There are some issues with the fact that I have developed this locally in Docker on a Windows machine, and we're going to push it to a remote server on an Ubuntu machine. There's very slightly things we're going to have to change because of that, but don't worry. It's miles ahead of actually manually reinstalling everything that does not use Docker. Now, let's do another recap. So we have Strapi. We made the scripts, we have the node modules, config. We didn't change much. We have Strapi generated types. Yeah, this is all great. Let's see the online Udemy game. Very simple Unity. That is working. That is working. Well, as I said, in the battle, we kill the enemy, and you're gonna have to handle from now on. Proceed on your own. Create the fact that, hey, the game has ended because this guy has now 0 health. Now we go back to the select screen and we edit, we increment the wins or losses and experience. Now, this was a very, very, very bare bones, very basic proof of concept showcase of making an online game. Now, in my next course, which is going to be at least, I think, at least double the size of the videos, will be much more advanced. We will actually make a fully fledged game. I'll show you all sorts of validations, all sorts of pitfalls. it will be extremely complex, and I'm going to enjoy making it because I really liked teaching this. This was my first course, and please, please, please let me know all the things you didn't like and all the things you did like. I need the feedback. I need to know what I did wrong. And I was super nervous throughout this entire course, and you've probably noticed that. But please, please give me the feedback so I can improve it later on. Now, we're not done yet. We are done with the local code, and we're going to have to deploy this. Now, let's we already have all these changes. Let's make sure the environment variables are not being sent. As we can see, there are no environment variables. Okay. You're not going to have this. Just remove this. That was a database dump I made. Let's see. Yeah, all of this has to go. So dev production, all right, edit config, end of example. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that is good to go. So hit this plus. Now we're going to commit that. Git, oh no, not in the backend. cd period to go one up. Git commit. My message is finish, I guess. Finish. Well, you're never finished, but git push, and boom, we have to push this into our GitHub repo. Now, let's see. We're not going to need to push anything here because we're just going to compile a build that you're going to share. But before we do that, we're going to have to edit the connection URL because it's not going to be living on localhost anymore. It's going to be living on the internet. Now, go to Digitalocean, follow this link. I simply Googled Digitalocean 200 free, and we got this. Now, this is how you get 200 credit for 60 days. We're going to create an account. We're going to rent a server from here. I would say we're going to make it not very cheap, but like Strapi requires at least 4 gigs of RAM. It's recommended. So we're going to be relatively expensive in the costs. But for this course, that is fine because you're going to get 60 days for free. You can experiment with it. And then right before those 60 days, just turn off your droplet and delete your account. Now, when you're going to make a real game, it's going to get much more expensive than what we're going to do here. So use this as a testing ground, play around with it, break it, and just try to teach yourself, try to educate how this deploying works and how to maybe make a cron job for an SSL certificate, how to buy a domain name and point it to the DNS so you could actually make it live on a domain name because you're going to need an SSL certificate. Luckily, we don't need a domain name. Everything in this course is free. Now, fill in your email address and password, create a free account, and start your free trial with, and you will get a free trial. You can I pause the video, register, and I suggest you to do the same thing. Just log in and proceed from there. Okay, now something funny happened. That did not work for me. If you had no previous account with Digitalocean, then that would have worked for you. But for me, that specific field that I showed you a minute ago, that actually noticed that I already have an account and it logged me into my previous account. We're going to have to use this actually if you already have an account. It's going to need to send you a link. You click that link and then you can register. So again, I'm going to pause the video and do this, and I'll see you soon. Now, after you have verified your email, you will be presented with this screen. Don't look at my name. This is just a fake name. And just go through this. Just write other, nothing. I work alone. Submit. Okay. So it's going to, sadly, you must verify your identity with a payment method. You're going to have to verify your identity against spammers and bots. Okay. I'm going to have to verify my identity. I'm going to use PayPal. So I suggest you to do the same. And I'll pause the video. All right. Now, sadly, I had to pay $5. So apparently this course is sadly not fully free anymore, but we've come so far. $5 is nothing just to educate ourselves so much. Your credits are active. You only be charged when you're using. So just we're gonna be setting up our droplet and just kill it right before it tries to charge you. Now let's see. No, not a deploy web virtual machine. I'm looking for droplet. Maybe this is a droplet. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Your email was confirmed. That's nice. Let's see. So we're in our first project. Let's see. How does that work? Yeah. Okay. This is it. Wait a minute. Regular. Yeah. All right. All right. This is it. So create a droplet. Choose a region. Usually you would use the region. This is going to store the database in that region. Use the region that your audience is going to be mostly from. Now, I'm going to, in this case, choose a region that is very close to me, which is Amsterdam. Restricted to users with existing resources only. Okay. So select the close to your, yeah, exactly. Choose an image. We're just going to use Ubuntu 22.04 is nice. Shared CPU basic. Now, I have tried this and it's extremely slow. So I suggest you to pick the 4 gigs of RAM and 2 CPU with a premium AMD. That is already $28 a month, but trust me, you're going to appreciate the speed. We don't need additional storage. We will have to use an SSH key. We can walk you through setting up your first SSH key. All right, this is an interesting one. You're going to have to generate an SSH key at SSH, and it tells you what to do. Now, if you've never done it before, you actually have for setting up the SSH connection with your GitHub account. Let's see. But if you're going to do it a second time, you're going to have to, in my opinion, set it up in a different folder. So on Windows, go to PowerShell, run as administrator. I don't think we need that. All right. Now type in SSH keygen, generating public-private RSA key pair. Enter file in which to save the key. Now, this is my default spot, and I don't want to do that. So enter file in which to save the key. Let me check. Am I able to do this? Home David .ssh. I want to create like online Udemy game ID RSA. Does this work? Ooh, I think it works. Enter empty passphrase, empty, no such file or directory. This is wrong. So let's just do this real quick. Let's do it again. SSH keygen C users David .ssh online Udemy game ID RSA. Empty. Saving key now. Okay. Now the structure is good. I just need to make the folder. So go and make this folder inside of your SSH folder. I had paused the video and I went ahead and did that. So let's do this again. C users David SSH online Udemy game ID RSA. Empty. What do you mean? Oh, because I had pressed up and it goofed again. Users, David, David, SSH, online Udemy game, ID, RSA. Come on. No, why? What do you mean? Oh, I meant, what? It literally says /David. Why? What? Huh? What's going on here? Finally, wow, PowerShell sucks. All right, anyway, we've created a SSH file in a specific folder. Now, We did that. Cat SSH, the public. So we're going to have to run cat ~/SSH, then online Udemy game /ID RSA pub. Copy this and paste it here. And we're done. Name SSH key. I don't know. Add SSH key. That's great. Add improve. No. Oh, it's free? Okay, we don't need that. Type tags first project. Create droplet. Now this is going to take some time. What this does is we are going to create an Ubuntu server. That's it. It's going to grant us an IP address and we can SSH into that IP. It's going to take some time. Now, I know that you can use Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services for stuff like this. I do not have experience with that yet. That's why DigitalOcean is a bit easier to do. It's kind of old school, but it does a trick. We have already pushed this. This is nice. Let's see. There we go. So this is our droplet. Now, there's nothing interesting in here. These are the metrics. We'll go back. I said go back. Now, this is going to be your IP you're going to be connecting to. So copy that. Open up PowerShell again. Now, usually you would do this. SSH root at, and then paste the IP. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. Well, it's not going to work because permission denied public key. The generated SSH key was specifically placed in a different folder other than the default folder. That's why we're getting this error. So we're going to have to SSH specifically using the key in a specific folder. And how that works is like this. The SSH-I, now period /backslash SSH, online Udemy game ID RSA, root, at, and then you paste your IP and then hit enter. Now this should work. Boom, there we go. We are inside of our remote server now. So let's see, if we do ls, nothing here. Okay, just make a directory. Let's call it, I don't know, project. Make your project now cd into that project. Ls, there's nothing in there. Now we're gonna have to git clone the repo. And after git cloning the repo, literally, in theory, all we have to do is docker compose up with the production settings, and we will be done. Now there are going to be some mistakes that we're going to have to fix in the code, but let's first git clone this. Now, depending on how you saved your GitHub project, it's going to be a different project approach. So if it's public, you can easily git clone and then the git link. If it's private, you're going to have to generate an SSH key inside of your server and then paste that into GitHub. So I think I made mine private. Let me check on my other screen. Your repositories, online Udemy game. Okay, so I made it private. Now, I will show you how to now generate that SSH key, and then let's see. Okay, so let's do this entire process again. SSH keygen. This time we can do it in root. Passphrase nothing, and boom. Now cat. This cat. This time we're in root, right? So I think I should be able to do SSH and ID RSA. There we go. That. Now in GitHub, open up GitHub, go to your settings, SSH and GPG keys. I'm not showing my screen because it contains private information. Then new SSH key, title, give it online Udemy game. Paste the SSH key and add SSH key. It's asking me for verification through a mobile phone. Let me do that real quick. Authentication request approved. All right, we are done here. And we're done. Wait, hold on. Something is wrong. Key is invalid. You must supply a key in open SSH public key format. What does that mean? Let's see. What is the problem with that? Begin with SSH. Well, maybe I need to include end open SSH key because it does say open SSH key. Add SSH key. Key is invalid. That is odd. I've done this before. Of course, I'm stupid. Go back. We need the pub.pub, the public one. All right, now we can copy this and then add new SSH key in GitHub, add SSH key, boom, successfully added. Now we're in the project directory. All I need to do is now go to your private GitHub repo, your repositories, online Udemy game, click on code, and then copy the SSH. Let's see, copy the SSH code, well, the link. So now we can do git clone, clone, paste, hit enter. And now because we already have the SSH key, it's working. There we go. Now if we hit ls, cd into it, online Udemy game, and we are done. Now, we now have the exact same project in our Udemy, in our remote server, but I'm going to show you a neat trick we can do. If you go back to your vscode, and if you had installed the extension of the remote SSH, which is remote SSH, you will have this icon. Hit file, new window. Let's make a new window. Actually, no, you don't need that. Click on this. Connect to host. Now, when I click on this, it's going to show me some private information. So I'm going to do this off screen. I'm going to tell you what to do. Now, when you click on connect to host, you later then click on add new host, and it's going to ask you the exact command you used to remote into your remote SSH into your server. And which one did we use? Let's see. We can go up. We're going to go up, up, up. What we did was SSH-I, our specific folder root at the IP address. Copy the one that you just used to enter your remote server. Then when you go here, connect to host, add new host, paste that link and hit enter. Now I'm going to pause the video and do that real quick. Now, after you do that, it's going to ask for a config file to use. Now, what's interesting here is you're going to have to use the first config file you see here, and it's going to add certain code into that config file in an incorrect way. We're going to add it. We're going to choose this. It's going to update that config file, and it's going to fail connecting. After it fails connecting, you will see a prompt to retry. And then it will give you a drop-down menu where it says, I think you can inspect or edit the config file. Choose that. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to click this first option, and I will continue from after the error. It just said host added. Now we should be able to, again, click this, connect to host, click the IP address that you inputted as an SSH command. I'm going to pause it here. Now it's asking us what's the platform is Linux, of course, and it's setting up the host, and it's going to fail. Now, click on More Actions, and click on Open SSH Configuration File. And at the top of that file, you will see that a certain line has been incorrectly input, and I'll show you in a minute. Now, I have removed the rest of the code because this is the only important part we need. It says .ssh online Udemy game IDRSA. Now, it's not in. This is supposed to be a pointer of a directory. Fix this, and the way we can fix this is simply just type this SSH online Udemy game IDRSA, and I think this should be great. Hit save, and then try to reconnect again. Now, this time it should. Now, let's see. Yeah, so we are now connected with vscode. It's like FileZilla, but more fancier. We have connected into this open folder. Click project, click online Udemy game, and hit OK. So it's basically opening VS Code, trusty authors, in our production environment. And here we can easily just open up a terminal and do the Docker compose up, build an up command for production. Now there are going to be some errors, and we're going to fix them together. So, as I said, the backend will have a problem in the config database. Remove all of this. Actually, I'm doing this completely wrong. We're not supposed to edit code in production. What you're supposed to do is go back into your local code, edit it there, push it as an update in your Git, and then pull it back in your production. So go to config and database. And as I said, this is wrong. We're going to delete that, and I'm going to copy paste the code that you're going to have to copy paste. Paste it here. And this correctly is going to use Postgres. Hit save. Now that should do the trick. The reason why there is a difference between local and development and production is because we ran Strapi locally. Now we're actually going to be running Strapi in Docker, and we're going to have to set it up for it. Now, note how in the production one, we don't have an env file. Let's see, do we have it here? We also do not have it in here. So we're going to have to create the envs in production manually. .env here and a .env here, and just copy paste what you have locally. Let's go to .env here, copy paste that, but you're gonna have to add it to production. All right. Now hold on, I did this not in the correct one. This is supposed to be in the normal env. Hit save, and the env in the back end. What do we do there? Let's see, env backend, where are you? There you are. Copy that, paste that in here, and boom. That is that. Now, were there any other? Let's see, let's go through the Docker files in here. Well, we only have one for production. Now, remember, these are the commands that are going to run from the Docker compose file, which is this. And the Docker file, you can never get it right on the first try. There is going to be some trial and error, and you're going to learn from it. Now, I've done the trial and error. Again, I will copy paste this too. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to provide this below in the video. Save that. Now, the recording actually broke from this moment, and I was doing things while the recording was broken. Luckily, I figured it out in like 5 minutes, so I'm going to backtrack now. The last thing we did was the Docker file We edited the Docker file. As you can see, there are no changes here because I have already pushed them, but I'm gonna proceed from where you're supposed to proceed. So that's the last thing we did. Now go to the default conf of nginx, and what I also did was change the IP address to your new IP address of DigitalOcean and save that. Then do a git add, git commit, final production changes, and git push. After you've pushed that, you should have 3 changes: a Docker file, the default conf, and the database.ts that we changed. You push that, and you've also edited the env files, I assume. Now let's see, the env files here are fine. Now what I then went ahead and did was, after you've pushed it, do a git pull here, and it will git pull the latest changes and also fix this in your production one, your production server. Now, you may have noticed that we don't have node modules here, so we're going to have to do a yarn, but we first have to install nvm and then yarn in order to be able to do that. So I found this link on DigitalOcean, how to install NodeJS on Ubuntu 2020, installing Node using the Node version manager. So we're going to be using nvm. So let's see, until install nvm, just copy all these commands, and I'm going to be putting this on my side screen, and just copy the commands and execute them. So first things first here, copy, paste. Why did that not work? Paste. What is going on? Ah, this is actually just showing us the script. In order to run it, run this one, bash, all right. All right, then install the nvm. You must first source your bash. There we go. Now we can, oh, this should be done. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was easy. So nvm install version 18.15 was it again? Nice. And then nvm use 18. It will understand it needs to be using 18.15. That's nice. And then it, what was it again? npm install global yarn, I think. Ah, lucky guess. No, it wasn't? Oh, yes, it is. So now you're in the root, so we can do a yarn. Boom. Ah, that actually did it in the root. We have to do cd into the backend and then do a yarn. And I think this is going to take a long time. So have you chosen a cheap server on DigitalOcean, this process is going to take super long. Even though we have a pretty expensive one, it's still going to take super long. So we have the env file. I'll pause the video here because this might take too long, and I'll see you soon. Right, proceeding with the video. Now, I think we're done. Off the top of my head, I do not remember anything else that needs to be done. I think this is it. So let's try running it. Let's go one folder up and docker compose -f, but this time the docker compose file of production prod. We build it first. Hit enter. Oh man, I'm so stupid. We have to install Docker on Ubuntu too. All right, let's see. Ah, of course, DigitalOcean also has a solution on how to install Docker on Ubuntu. Let's see, Ubuntu 2020.04. That's nice. Just Google this, DigitalOcean install Docker Ubuntu 2020.04. Executing that without sudo. No, all we need is this sudo system. Just follow all of this. I'm going to do that now, so copy that. Sudo apt update. And then, did he do that? Working, all right. Then copy the next script. Paste. The next one. Yeah, just hit OK. Next one. Next one. Sudo apt update again. Dash. Now, see, this is much faster than Docker Desktop crashing and then rebooting your Windows PC. Do you want to continue? Yeah. Hit OK. All right, now let's test if it's working. Yes, active running. All right, now let's do the Docker Compose Docker Compose build that I was talking about. Boom. This one might take pretty long too. I'm gonna pause the video here. That took pretty long. That's interesting because it's not supposed to take that long. DigitalOcean CPUs are pretty powerful, and I think I've noticed this when I choose an Amsterdam region, it's relatively slower than the New York one. So probably if you use New York, it's probably much faster. Anyway, we've done the build. Now run the, we did the build. Now run the up to actually start it. And, we don't actually have the Docker container thing here. So just install Docker remotely too. Or the Docker extension, install on SSH. A bit is defined to run in remote. Please install. Okay. Let's wait this to finish. Let's see if there are any errors. Come on. Starting Postgres. Except the node does not include. Ah, okay. Oh, wow. I think it worked. So create your first administrator by going to the administration panel at 00. So this is the internal IP. And the internal IP, let's go to your browser and type in this IP. And you should be able to connect to that now. There we go. Now, very simple, /admin. Now you're going to have to create an account, and it's going to be an empty database. So what we can do is go ahead and create your account. I'm going to do that off screen real quick. Now we're in. The problem is we don't have any data, as you can see. We have, of course, it's a file-based source of truth in Strapi. So because we've uploaded the repo, it understands the structure. All it needs is the data. So it's going to be a pain in the ass to manually fill in the data, even though it's not that much. So I'm going to show you how to export a database dump from your local repo and import it in your production. And it's relatively easy. So first, let's just install this so we can look at our Docker containers. This time we have 4. The backend, the Postgres, and the certbot, and the nginx, because nginx is actually doing its job now. Certbot for requesting SSL certificates. Now let's see. How are we going to do this? I'm going to have to go to the local repo. Do we have this still running? Yes, we have Postgres still running. Now, I've tried this before, and what happens is because Postgres is running in Docker, running an external command, exporting it externally from Docker into your computer messes up the UTF structure. So we're going to have to use some other unconventional way of exporting it. And the commands I have saved, I will be including those commands too below the video. By the way, if I've forgotten any command or script that I had to provide in a video, please let me know. You can spam me if you want, don't worry. Let's see. So we can execute Docker commands in Docker from outside of Docker. Let's see. So the first one will be Postgres. It's called Online Udemy Game Postgres. So Docker exec for execute. It's called Online Udemy Game Postgres. So if you hover over it, Online Udemy Game Postgres, bash -c. We're going to run pg dump -u and Postgres to log in as Postgres -ft and online Udemy game, the name of the database. Let's double check. Is it called Online Udemy Game? It's called Online Udemy Game. Nice. Udemy Game into temp backup.tar. Now this will copy it and put it in our root directory. Let's see. Will it? No, it's still inside a Docker container. Now Docker CP online Udemy game Postgres, and then we just get it into temp backup.tar, and then period. Successfully copied. This is the way to export a database dump from Docker. Do it any other way and you're going to corrupt your database dump. Now we can actually simply, I think you can even drag and drop this, right? Let's see. I should be able to drag and drop it here. It works. Okay, so if it says this file is not displayed in the text editor because it's either binary or blah, 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 then it's perfect. It's not even supposed to be able to show. If it does show some gibberish, that means it's not going to work. Now we're going to have to import it. So let's see. Another Docker exec. Let's see, the Docker container name is probably going to be the same thing, right? Online Udemy core. Online Udemy game. Postgres, this time a PG restore. Login as Postgres. Database name is Online Udemy game. And pipe backup tar into it. Boom! There we go. Now I should be able to refresh this. There we go. We just imported the database. This is nice. As far as I know, it does not import the relations, so just add them. Nice skill. A mechanic exists. That's perfect. It's the magic staff. And I think we should also go to public roles, and we have to fix the endpoints of finding the character. We have to make it accessible from the outside. And I think that's it. Now, let's see, where are we? So this is the back end of our game. It's running. It does have some changes. This is nothing. So copy the IP. We can go to default. Copy this IP that you've input. We're not going to go back into Unity. Copy paste this, but add an HTTP in front of it. Go to project settings, type in HTTP, and you should for now allow, sadly, HTTP downloads. Where do I do that? Allow downloads of HTTP, because this is now HTTP. We don't have a domain name, so we don't have an SSL certificate. For now, we're going to have to do always allowed. But when you successfully deploy your real game, put it on not allowed. That's it. Now hit save, do a build and run. We have already registered as the Legend 27, so we can just log in. The Legend 27 QPAL. Log in. Boom. Something happened here. You saw that. Let's go. Search game. Let's start this. And it should work. It works. Perfect. You're now literally playing a game over the internet. And whatever I do, whatever I try with cheat engine trying to hack this is not going to work. If I even edit some variables here, I will not be able to hack this game. This is very unhackable now. You cannot even spoof the JWT token. You cannot edit memory variables. Everything is running on a remote server. That's it for this course. Yeah. Thank you for listening through my amateuristic course. This is a very basic course, and I will make a very advanced and complex game, and I will make a course on that too. So stay tuned on that. You can follow me, follow my account. I don't know exactly how Udemy works. This is my first time using Udemy. I don't know if you can follow me, but if you cannot, you can just follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn. Let me just do this real quick. My Twitter is CodeStark, at CodeStark. You can follow me. You can DM me whenever you want. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. You know my name. It will be in my Udemy profile. It's David with a very difficult last name. And yeah, so the message that I want to give you is this will work with every type of front end, every type of front end development engine: React, Unity, Godot, Phaser, Unreal Engine, even your toaster if it has a screen, if it has an API, a way to connect to an API. Now, the basics are the same. We use Strapi with a WebSocket connection in Node.js. You could easily make this in .NET. You could spin up a Postgres server, .NET, use Elasticsearch. You could use Rust, as long as you have some sort of backend server connection. And as far as I know, I think Rust and .NET are just way faster than Node.js even. So that's probably even a better idea if you're going to make an actual real game. My experience is mostly in Node.js, and that was very easy to set up, as you could see. We've learned on how to containerize our project, how to do an nginx configuration, how to use Strapi, Typescript. Typescript is very easy. It's similar to C#. What the modules are: node modules, environment variables, the Docker and Compose files, the Docker files, and you're just connecting your front end with your back end. Now, I'm trying to think of any other things that you need to know, but I cannot think of any other things. So I think this course is like 7 hours long, and I really intended this to be very short, a very easy proof of concept basic game. And you can already imagine that it's going to be way longer than the next course. Yeah, I guess that is it. I'm going to end the video here. Again, everyone, thank you all for watching. I hope I wasn't too annoying or nervous. I hope I explained everything as careful as possible. Again, please give me feedback, contact me, I will talk to you. And you can see, I can already guess, like, if I end this video, there's something that's going to pop up in my head that I need to share with you guys real quick. If it does, you're going to see another video after this final video. And if you don't see a new video, then this is the end. Again, thank you all for watching, and I hope I will see you in my next course. Thank you, everyone. Have fun and good luck.